I'm not saying I'm Spider-Man. All I'm saying is that you've never seen Spider-Man and me at the same place at the same time. All I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, I literally just got back home from seeing Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm blown away, ladies and gentlemen. I love Spider-Man. I grew up with the original animated series. I fell in love with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I adore the sequel, not so much the third Spider-Man. I really enjoyed Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 all that much, but it really had good moments. This one, however, in my honest opinion, and I'm gonna get hate for this, is the best Spider-Man movie ever. It encompasses and embodies everything fundamentally about Peter Parker. It captures the vibe, the beat, the score, the colorful comic book accuracy that is Spider-Man. More importantly, Ultimate Spider-Man, which I am a huge fan of. It brings that to the big screen. It molds Peter into understanding what he has as a responsibility. It is a movie that is everything that a Spider-Man fan wants. It is here. It is for you, and it is so that you can laugh, you can have a good time, you can care about all of the characters. You can absolutely, fundamentally believe that you are watching a Spider-Man movie that was inspired by comic books. Alright, it was extraordinary from start to finish, and we're going to get into it really shortly. I just wanted to say from the bat, before I even get into actually reviewing this movie, thank you, John Watts, because you have given me what I've always wanted. So let's get down to the review, shall we? So, Spider-Man Homecoming takes place about 2 months after the events of Captain America Civil War. What's really cool, and this review will have very minor spoilers, so don't worry about anything being spoiled or neglected for you. I don't really do that in these kind of spoiler-free reviews, but minor things that I want to talk about that will not spoil anything. So continuing on, just wanted to fair warn you guys. From the very beginning of this movie, you get to see that Peter Parker is a 15-year-old kid, and you can't help but adore him because you can relate to him. You can literally sit down and in some way or the other relate to this kid or completely relate to him. That event that happened in Captain America Civil War, that he was recruited by Tony Stark, given a new suit, he could take the suit with him now, it's his, it's a present from Tony Stark himself, you know, he thinks that he's an Avenger. His life completely changed. He completely changed his lifestyle pretty much, you know, and it's really cool to see how he is an outcast and a nerd, you know, in school, and his best friend Ned, they're great homies and they understand each other, but they're kind of sort of outcasts. You know, I really enjoyed that about Peter Parker from the very beginning. You get that, you understand that, you can relate to him, you know, problems in life, and you know, in some way, form, or the other, you will be able to find something relatable to Peter Parker, is what I'm trying to basically tell you guys here. I loved all the casting of this, and I have to say, great job on the diversity in Midtown High, because I was sitting there and I couldn't believe that there was so many different kids in that school. I'm like, yes, this is what high school should be, you know what I mean, in my personal opinion. So I know having some backlash that it's, oh my god, there's so much diversity. I actually don't mind that. Flash was a dick. He was a 15, 16-year-old kid, but he was a dick. And I know kind of why, because Peter is a really smart kid, and no matter what he does, he's always accepted by the people around him in school, by the teachers, classmates, whatever that might be, even if he lets them down because of how, I guess, smart, because of how charming, because of how cool he is. Not necessarily that he's popular, but you know, he's just a chill person. People really like him. So, you know, Flash kind of, that gets under Flash's skin because Flash has all this money, and it's ironic for him, I guess, and he doesn't feel that that is, you know, cool and that he deserves better. So that's why he's a bully to Peter. If you didn't understand that, there you go. I just kind of gave that to you. Continuing on, back to Ned. Ned, wow. I believe the gentleman's name is Jacob Batlin. I'm apologizing if I'm saying your name incorrectly. You stole my heart because you are a legitimate nerd on screen. You know, like, if my best friend was Spider-Man, I would lose my shit. I would almost ask all the same questions that Ned asked, and then some. Okay, and then some. Wonderful. He He encompasses everything that you want in a quote-unquote sidekick, the chair guy. You know, the one that helps out the hero. Love it. Love it. There was a point in time, minor spoiler, he has the mask on, right? And it's so casual that you just see the actual friendship these two guys have, like that they were working on something, working together, and he was helping Peter, and seeing that small thing and seeing how they were interacting, they were all cool about everything, and seeing how much he loves Peter as a friend, and he was willing to go beyond and above for him and worried about him. I love that kind of stuff, and I really do appreciate everything that they put into the writing when it comes to developing a proper quote-unquote sidekick and best friend for Peter Parker. So my hat's tipped off to you. The love interest Liz was there. It was there. It was kind of cute, but it wasn't really anything all that much. What's interesting about Liz, though, is that the girl has this kind of charisma on screen. You know, Harrier, the late Miss Harrier plays Liz, and she does a pretty good job of doing that. And I think that if maybe they had a bit of a better script, they could have made her a little bit more entertaining for me. However, she wasn't really a big part of the story, so I didn't really mind what of her was in this film. However, the twist with her is what really saves that character for me, and I think that that was a great usage of her in the way they wrote her into Peter's, I guess, quote-unquote love life. So definitely enjoy that stuff. Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Michael Keaton. He is an extraordinaire. He knows what he's doing in front of a camera, and I thought that the Vulture was a simplistic villain. However, he was the proper first villain. He fit into the story extremely well. He had a proper motivation, which a bad guy should have, and he, you know, wasn't something that you could relate to, but you could understand, which is really cool. The suit, loved it. I dig the take of the whole tech suit. I think it was glorious, in my honest opinion. It moved extremely well in the action set pieces, so I really do appreciate what they've done with that, no doubt about it. But Michael Keaton was something else. There's a scene when he's in the car with Peter that you see in a trailer. He was terrifying, and I appreciate that in a villain, and I appreciate what the movie led to at the end / post-credit scene, which we won't talk about, but I'm just letting you know, please stay there. It does show his character has class. I'll say that much. I will say that much. He's not a regular villain, and I like that. I really do respect that. Continuing on, Robert Downey Jr., he was in the movie the perfect amount. Okay? You could have not had Robert Downey Jr. have a better amount in the movie if it's a, you know, someone else's solo film and he comes in as a special guest. The better amount of time than he was in this film. He was in it, you know, like that sweet spot? That's how much he was in it. Because he was a proper mentor, but at the same time he had a presence in the film that really set the course of pretty much all the events, which really, really is a cool thing. And to see the way his relation with Peter progresses and how he himself is learning how to be a proper mentor is really, really cool. Now, I will say this though, okay, this is spoiler for review, but I'm talking to everyone that has seen this movie. That little tease from Tony to Peter at the end for Infinity War, you know what I'm talking about. That shit had me wham! I'm talking about that thing had me, it didn't have me hard, it had me erected, okay? Like, I was just like, I was like, can you put it on, please? No, okay, I'll wait. It's 10 months away, I'll wait. Love that stuff, so, all in all, pretty much everyone that was involved, especially Jon Favreau back, is happy. Oh, I loved his remarks and his quirky comebacks. Great stuff. And I really did enjoy Aunt May in this. I think Aunt May was, I think she was the proper Aunt May we needed for this kind of Spider-Man, because in my opinion, in order to be an Aunt May that's understandable, that is reliable, that is there for Peter, and they do a good job. It's subtle things that they build with her and Peter's relationship that really makes you go, these two guys love each other. Like he might not be her son, but he is her everything. and likewise to him, you know. So I really dig that, and I like how there were subtle things, how she was getting him ready for the homecoming dance, you know, and how they went on a lunch date, you know, like subtle stuff like that, and the way she talks to him, and the ending, perfect. It was wonderful. It was everything an Aunt May should be for this kind of Peter, and it was just remarkable how well they have chemistry on screen together, because you could really tell these two people genuinely love each other, and they're all they have in the whole world, and I appreciate that in this kind of film. Spider-Man Homecoming does have a very interesting plot that's not necessarily thick or all that deep, but that is extremely fun, relatable, and is an absolute blast. The majority of the time, the movie moves. It never really has a long, subtle moment or a long break, not from necessarily action, but just from going to the beat. I love the soundtrack of the movie, which is also fantastic and was extremely well put out and put together for this kind of picture, because the movie itself is very vibrant in colors, which I loved, but it also has this kind of, I don't want to say mystique, but you can say that necessarily, because it moves to this sort of groove of like, we're gonna show you cool stuff, we're gonna have your attention, we're gonna make you laugh, we're gonna have something incredible happen, then we're gonna slow it down just a little bit, give you a little bit more character-driven narrative, we're gonna have characters build relationship, we're going to bring these characters to good light and life for you to relate to them. And then afterwards, we're going to throw them into incredible situations that are high thrill or high octane that you will want to sit down and watch and just not take your eyes off of the screen of, and I love that kind of stuff. So, tipping my hat off to you gentlemen for that. I really do appreciate that kind of stuff. There were a few twists in the movie that I won't spoil. It has to do with Vulture and a certain character becoming an actual character based in the world of Spider-Man is the proper way, I can't say without spoiling it, towards actually at the almost very end of the movie, which is a nice kind of tease of what's to come in the next two Spider-Man movies for his love interest, but it does a very well job of that as well. I really want to talk and spend a little more time of the way that Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland have this great, almost father-son-like chemistry on screen. They almost don't act, is what I'm trying to say. It's as if though they are actually talking, and they're the scene after the, you know, big sequence where Spider-Man is trying to save, you know, a fairy, and Iron Man comes in and helps him out. You obviously saw that in the second trailer, and then they have a conversation where Tony gets out of the suit. That scene was so powerful, because you could see in Tony Stark's eyes that he meant everything he said. He was very disappointed in Peter, and the way that they wrote the actual lines and dialogue, it made you relate and feel that power in that scene, and really makes you wonder how their relationship will build across the next two Avenger movies that they're both in, and it's wonderful in that aspect. And I think that Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland have a very bright future on screen together. Is definitely the conclusion I had from that. All in all, I have to give Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. Okay, that's not over-exaggerating. There were a few nitpicks, but compared to everything I loved about this movie, it's nothing. So I am absolutely okay with what I got. If you guys enjoyed this movie, comment in the comment section below. Let your boy know. Let's have a conversation about it. If you liked my review, like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button down there. Really do appreciate that. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you go see Spider-Man if you haven't. And peace out.
I've been so alone ever since I left